Can you ignore the mind? Can you ignore the content of your mind? Yes, you can. All thoughts arising, even the mind itself doesn't really exist. It's just a bundle of thoughts put together and the apparent creator of those thoughts. But if you follow them back to the source, you realize that they're not coming from anywhere. They're not coming from a mind. Ignore the content of your mind. It's not telling you the truth. And when I say that, I mean ignore all of it. And there might be some yeah but, and yeah but is the ego's launch pad for nonsense. Really, the things that it's going to come up with to try to get a foothold in why it should stay relevant. Yeah, but sometimes it tells me good stuff. Sometimes it tells me bad stuff. This isn't a call or a directive to, I guess maybe in some ways it is, walk mindlessly through the world. You do stuff anyway. A car comes, you move out of the way. You touch something hot, the body moves. Someone asks you a question and you respond in that answer, but you respond with an answer to that particular question. But the other thoughts arising, the other things that are coming up with regards to the mind, ignore them. Make an attempt. See if you can. That's where peace is. I talk to a lot of people who are or were on the self-improvement track. And I don't have any judgment with any of those things other than things that I've said in other talks regarding the fact that calling it a ruse is about as gentle as I can get in terms of the fact that there's nothing really to improve upon. But some of the techniques that are provided involve repetition of positive comments. You're basically removing negative comments with positive, or it's whatever's the loudest thing in the room. And the noise doesn't bring peace. The ignoring or the allowing of the content of the mind just to be and to not follow it or believe it or chase it or figure out its meaning, that's where peace is found. I want to be clear. It's not about making an effort or an attempt to get rid of the mind or get rid of thoughts. Those will just happen. The ego will try, thoughts will arise, some apparently good, some apparently bad. It's not about quieting those or making this attempt. And there can be a natural quieting that happens over time once those thoughts are just allowed to be. And in fact, the effort is actually no effort. So there's not much that needs to happen. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. The effort in helping to quiet these things is in not chasing them, not trying to figure them out. And a yeah, but you might have had several that have come up as you're listening. I feel good when I think positive thoughts. Well, who is it that feels good? Where's the thought arising? It makes me feel good. Who's the me? Find the source of thoughts. Find the source of the I thought. I am is it. I am is the truth. Everything after the I am is a story. I am Noel. I am a father. I am someone talking on YouTube. That's all a story. And if you can't ignore the mind, if you can't ignore those thoughts, that's okay. It really is. That's okay too. That just might be how your movement, your karma, things are moving through you in that context. But recognize that I can't ignore the content of my mind is just more mind content. It's just more thoughts arising. And it's another aspect of the stickiness of the ego, which, by the way, the ego doesn't exist either, but oftentimes in talks and in conversations, there will be the concession of giving it a character. It can be fun or interesting, or at least a little more maybe helpful in describing it as this thing. It's sort of natural for humans to give human characteristics to everything, but in this context of the ego. But the ego doesn't exist. The mind doesn't exist. Thoughts don't exist. They're just arising out of nowhere to nowhere. They're impermanent. They come and go. All of them. What you truly are, your true nature, I am, the source, never comes and goes. It was not born. It does not die. And so when I say ignore the content of the mind, it's really just a pointing to when thoughts arise, allow them to be. Don't label them good. Don't label them bad. If it helps, you can speak to them. You can say, "Oh, there you are again." What usually happens, especially if they're running, they're trying to trying to get some attention, is the recognition of them in that attempt will just create peace or laughter or a deep breath, like, oh, there it is again. In this duality programming that has been seen through, there is this good, bad, black, white, better, worse programming that's going on. And the ego can also take that, it uses those tools and says, yeah, but I want the good thoughts. I want the good thoughts. They're all on the same side of the table. They're all content of the mind, thoughts arising. People don't like hearing that we don't control our thoughts. It feels, I guess maybe the not like hearing is it's fear-based, or I believe that I do control my thoughts, but beyond the science, and I've had other talks on this, but beyond the science showing that we don't, there's always this basic, well, if you can control your thoughts, then just always have good thoughts, or always have peaceful thoughts. That's just not the case. So the purpose of this talk is to consider the idea or the notion that the thoughts can just be allowed. They don't need to be labeled. They don't need to be judged. They don't need to be figured out. Even if and when a thought arising creates some sort of energetic contraction in the body, it doesn't make them more important. It's just another piece of content of the mind. Can you ignore the content of your mind? Try. And if it feels difficult, follow it back. Find out where it's coming from. Look at the source. Rather than trying to white knuckle it going away, give the mind something else to do, which is turn it back on itself and find the source of it and see where that goes. Or you can do none of this. You can do none of it. You can just allow thoughts to pop up and follow them around and do everything you want. It's all what is. It's all part of this. It's all part of what's happening. You don't need to do anything. You don't have to do anything. Just be. Allow. Accept.